sing it, it's just so brilliant. Isn't she wonderful? Yeah. Oh, wow. What a day, what a day, what a day. Oh, yeah, I'm going to get to that. It's a great place mark, so we know where to cut the video, you know. It's really good, but I'll get to that. So welcome, everybody. Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living East Hawaii. You are magnificent. Yes? Can you say it? I am magnificent. Brilliant. Yes, I'm Reverend Beverley Strutt. I'm the spiritual director here at Center for Spiritual Living, and I know that that is the truth of you. Each and every one of you. Brilliant. Exactly as you are and exactly as you're not. That's something to think about. Thank you so much, Mike, for your creative thoughts. And you know that love of oneself and love of the others is both sides of the same coin, so I'm going to flip the coin in my talk. But before we get to that, I just want us to have a look at the year that we've been walking through. All right? The year has been living out loud. Living out loud. A way to go, I think last year was deepening into ourselves, and now we're taking it up and we're living out loud. And we've done it in many different ways. We've looked at curiosity. That was a great way to go, to dive deeper into curiosity, to bring out the awe in us so we can live greater out life. We went into authenticity. One more thing. All of these subjects that we've been delving in is to bring us to a heightened experience of how our lives can be. Vulnerability. That was a great month. Do you remember that one? Yeah. Yeah, we ran away from that one. And then the following one was shadow work. Yeah, we had to do some work around that one. And then, of course, this last month that we went through was all about our passion and our purpose. Yes, we found ourselves in the small things in our lives that were so, so, so important. And then, of course, we fell this month into love. Loving out loud. Not just small inside of ourselves, we're taking it out into the world. But there's some tricky things along the way. There's always tricky things along the way because guess what? We are human. Anybody not human in this room? Please tell me. Come, let's have coffee together because I'd love to chat about the other side of the world, you know. So anyway, so this month we're doing Love Out Loud, and as you can see right over here, we are sporting a pride flag for loving out loud. Now, that doesn't just allow the LGBTQ plus community to take hold of inclusive love. No, it's for all of us, right? Is it for all of us? It's for all of us, absolutely. It's called inclusivity, radical inclusivity. That's the love that we have. It's the rainbow. It's the completion of all those vibrations that bring out all the beautiful colors that each one of us is one of those colors or variety of the colors, right? And so it's the inclusivity of it. And therein lies the true love. We bring it all together. Nothing, and nobody is excluded. Did you hear that? Nothing and nobody. Even that person down the road that you want to go, really? I gotta love you too? Yeah. Nothing and nobody is excluded from it. It's the rainbow. And where do we live? Anybody? The rainbow state. Literally the aloha, the rainbow state, the maximum of inclusivity of love in the middle of the ocean, the furthest piece of land from anywhere else, shining brightly in this world as a way of being in inclusive love. Doesn't that feel good to be here, be a part of it, stand on this land? Woo! It feels good. You can feel the rooting. Thank you, Dennis, for that today. Deep roots into the ground, very grounded. Thank you for the beautiful chant because that is excellent. That can take me straight down there. And of course, you know, when it comes to rainbows, I got to come up with a joke. You know what happened to the rainbow that broke the law? He went to prison. But don't worry. It was a light sentence, and it gave him plenty of time for reflection. But I'm ching. What can I tell you? You know, I can't just sit there and listen to the jokes. I got to participate in it. Well, yeah, absolutely. So Dr. Ernest Holmes, as we're going to be quoting today quite a lot, he says that ultimately we shall see that the universe rests on the shoulder of love, that God is love, and that all the errors of humans are the result of ignorance of their own true nature. All the errors of humans are a result of an ignorance of our own true nature. So I'm going to go to the our true nature. So, how do I love thee? Let me count the ways. Yeah, no, let's go to the other one. How do I love me? Let me count the ways. How do I love me? Self-love. Self-love has often been confused with ego and pride and, you know, but that's not the truth of it at all. Self-love is the truth of loving this magnificent expression that God created. You, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you. All of you are these magnificent expressions of the divine. So self-love is an honoring of the divine's creation as you, exactly as you are and exactly as you're not. Let's not forget that, because we all come with our little idiosyncrasies, individualities, challenges, a whole bunch of these things, right? Because it makes up who we are as humans. Now, were we born absolutely magnificently in our spiritual being? Of course we were. Did we layer on a lot of stuff as we grew up and we covered over that beautiful shiny light, the one that we put under the bushel? Yeah, let's do some trimming. Let's get in there with our little saw and cut that down a little bit so that we can let that light shine again. So let me ask a thing. How many of you here, raise your hands, love yourselves? All right, I'm seeing a good lot of hands here. Yes, learning, all right. Okay, so let's just go for 1 minute. I love that we went in, so we're going to go in again. Let's go in for a minute and just think of one thing. Okay, you might not be able to say, I love myself, but you're definitely going to be able to find one thing in you that you truly love about you. Any one thing. It could be the way that you show up in the world, the way that you, an action that you do, something physical, whatever it is. So what I'm going to invite you to do is look at yourself the way Spirit would see you. So just take a minute, go inside a little bit, and just think of something that you truly love about yourself. Everybody got something? Anybody not got something? Anybody hasn't? If you haven't been able to find something that you truly love about yourself, put your hand up. I'm going to give you a card, and we're having tea this week, because I will tell you how much you have to love about yourself. All right. So come back to me. So now let me ask the question again. Who here loves themselves? Come on, let me see all the hands. You've got to love yourself. If you can love one thing, we do one thing the way we do everything. All right. Phew, that was hard work, man. Woo! All right. Okay, so now we're going to think about somebody else. Somebody else. And I particularly want you to find somebody that irks you. Somebody that challenges you. Yeah. Now that was an easy one. Okay. Somebody that irks you. All right. So can you think of what is the main thing that irks you about this person? Can you see that action in you, maybe? In some form of another? So here's the thing. So I'm one of those people, yeah, I'm sorry to admit this. I'm one of those people that if I'm sitting at a bar or a bar restaurant or something like that, and a couple is sitting down or a couple of friends and they're having a very sort of open conversation about anything, I jump in. Yeah. I'm that irritating person. I'll like go, oh yeah, and suddenly we're all having a conversation. And it generally goes really well, except every now and then you get this look. Like, really? But here's the funny thing, that when somebody does it to me, it irritates the living daylights out of me. I'm like, what the hell? You know, really? You want to talk with us? I don't know you. So I suddenly realized that the very thing that I do is something that irritates me in somebody else. Anybody find something like that? I mean, you could, you know, it's like when people stop and talk at the checkout counter, you're like, oh, come on already, I gotta go. And when I get there, what do? I talk at the checkout counter, have this whole long conversation. So what we do is we're finding in other people these little things that are traits in us. So often you'll find that people show up like this, and you're like, hang on a second, why is that irking me? Until I look inside and I realize that it may be a part of me that I don't care for that much, because I realize that I'm causing the same irritation that is being caused to me. So when we start to look at these things, this general love, this willingness to open our hearts and minds to love the world, to love everybody. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying have dinner with everybody, all right? There are a lot of people in this world that we don't need to have around us. They say, you know, if you don't want to smell like a pig, don't go dive in the mud with it. But we can still love the spiritual being that is that person. That's the love that we hold. We hold the love of the truth of the person in there. So maybe if we truly want to love that person that is irking us, we have to first heal the part of us that is being activated by that person. So like Mike said, that if we truly want to know love for ourselves, we need first and foremost to love everybody else. And I'm going to say the opposite. Both of them are true. Remember, it's all one coin. That if we truly want to love another, we need to learn how to love ourselves. We need to find those things in us that are little itchinesses, those little irksome traits, those things that we don't normally care about, because those things that are coming to us in other people are definitely the mirror. It's always the mirror being shown to us. So we want to begin with self-love. We want to begin with loving ourselves, so then we can be fully strong and stand in our truth, and then it's going to be easy to love everybody else. Because guess what? If we've healed those parts of us, that which irks us is not going to be showing up. Make sense? So Dr. Holmes says, an evolved soul judges no one, condemns no one, but realizes that all are on the road of experiencing, seeking the same goal, to find our way home. So when we learn to love ourselves, we go to a place of acceptance, for we've seen ourselves walk through it, and we can stand in that same place with others, not in judgment, but in full acceptance, so that we can truly love them with no biases, no opinions, just truly love the soul that is there. But we have to begin with, I love myself so much. And Teen Camp's song that came out, it said this: I love myself so much so I can love you so much, so that you can love you so much so you can start loving me. I'm going to say that again. I love myself so much so I can love you so much, so you can love you so much, so you can start loving me. And also remember, even something as simple as being on an airplane, if it depressurizes, you need to use the oxygen. They always say, take your oxygen mask first before you help another. And that is difficult because it's easy for us to help another. It's easy for us to love another. It's less easy for us to love ourselves fully. Every part of ourselves, all of ourselves. So when we go back and we say, I love myself so much, it's not just parts of me. It's learning to love the parts of us that are itchy. The parts of us that we can look at and go, yeah, I don't like that about me, but I know it's like from my family or my history or my this or my that. So bring it in. Bring it in. Bring it into the heart. Take it into the cave of the heart. Love it. Work on it. If it needs forgiveness, give it forgiveness. Forgiveness. Now we get into something. So we want to look at the world as a whole, where there are no labels, where we don't have division and separation. We want to love on what we see in full acceptance and honoring. That is what we need to do on these days, is to honor it. Dr. Ernest Holmes, continuing in the thing, says, all is mind, and as we attract to us that which we first become, until we learn to love, we're not sending out love vibrations. And not until we send out those vibrations can we receive love in return. Now, as you can see, Dr. Holmes said, not the contrary, but the complementary in Mike's statement and his creative thought. And it is true as well. For we can learn to love ourselves as we love others. But the work we need to do to not have to hold anything back is to heal and forgive within. Okay? So I'm going to read that quote one more time. All is mind, and as we attract to us that which we first become, until we learn to live, we are not sending out love vibrations, and not until we send out those vibrations can we receive love in return. It's kind of like we have to open that space. Open that space so that love can flow in. And we open that space by releasing those little things about us that we don't find lovable. Because I will tell you now that every single one of you in this room and on camera and around this world are lovable, loving, and loved. Lovable, loving, and loved. And there is no question, exactly as you are and exactly as you are not, for you are these magnificent expressions of the divine, exactly as God created you. Don't not like parts of you, because those parts of you that sometimes we criticize, bring them in, love them, and watch them blossom into something wonderful. For there's nothing that has come up through you that is not going to be a gift. Nothing. But how do we get there? Yeah, we do it through forgiveness. Yep. I gave you a little piece of that earlier. Forgiveness. We start with forgiveness. Now, the thing about forgiveness is we used to talking about, oh, I'm going to forgive this person, or I want forgiveness from this person. And then we think that everything's going to be perfect and lovely and wonderful. Well, it's got nothing to do with anybody else. Forgiveness is not about interacting with somebody. It's not about talking to them. It's not about releasing. It's not about blame. Forgiveness is an inside job, an inside work where you release yourself from all that no longer serves you. Yes? Do I hear hallelujah on that one? Forgiveness is the work that you do inside to release you from that which no longer serves you. Woo! That's a garbage can I want to take out any day, every day. And that's when we open up so that love can flow in. Anybody on board with me? Yeah? So, as we walk our path through this coming week, not only can we share love and love on others, but please remember that the work starts with you. Until you can start that work, love others as much as you can so that reflection will come back to you. But get in there and do that work, because the vibrations that we raise in this world are magnificent. And just as Mike said, we are all connected. We are all connected. So when one of us raises a vibration, it changes the world, because we're so connected that one little degree, I mean, you know, we can see it around us. 1 degree will shift a storm to completely avoid these islands. 1 degree. So if we can have one thought of forgiveness, one thought of inclusivity, one thought of love, one thought of I love myself so much that I can love you, so that you can love yourself and then you can love me back. Woo! I think it's brilliant. I love that song. We're going to have to get a copy of it. So as we walk this path this week, I invite you to do all that you can to get that love flowing. And please let it begin with you. Because to love yourself is honestly the hardest and the most honoring task, and the best way that you can show gratitude for the life that you have here on this beloved earth. So in closing, I'm going to speak about, from my favorite author, Mark Nepo. He's always just so convenient, you know. He sits on my table and he just spews this magnificence. So it's so easy to go, I'm going to pick you up right now. Loving yourself. He says, in loving ourselves, we love the world. For everything, including you and me, is connected by a small piece of the beginning. Yet how do we love ourselves? It is as difficult as times as seeing the back of your head. It can be as elusive as it is necessary. I tried and tripped many times, and I can only say that loving yourself is like feeding a bird that no one else can see. You must be still and offer your palm full of secrets like delicate seed. As she eats your secrets, no longer secret, she glows and you lighten, and her voice, which only you can hear, is the voice bereft of plans. And the light through her body will bathe you till you wonder why the gems in your palm were ever fisted. Others will think you crazed to wait on something no one sees, but the clear bird only wants to feed and fly and sing. She only wants light in her belly. And once in a great while, if someone loves you enough, they might see her rise from the nest beneath your fear. In this way, I've learned that loving yourself requires a courage unlike any other. It requires us to believe in and stay loyal to something no one else can see that keeps us in this world, our own self-worth. So it is. All right, let's take this to prayer. Woo! Let's breathe it in. So for this time together, I am so grateful for this opportunity to recognize and know that this interaction of love between us and each other is just a magnificent expression of the divine every minute of every day. And to know full well that as we love others, we grow and blossom this wonderment of love that stretches through the world. And as we love ourselves, we grow in a stability that can forever withstand anything that comes our way. For we are strong in the truth of the divine. We stand strong in the honoring of the creation that we are. We are strong in the love of God. So I know as we walk forward through this week that we can beam with the knowingness. We can feed that invisible, beautiful bird that is the love that we have for ourselves. And in doing so, we lift this vibration above all else. And I know that this is the truth of each and every one of you, for you are magnificent. You are magnificent. We are magnificent. So I release this prayer, knowing that it is so, that Spirit has said, but of course, my beloveds, of course. And we claim it together by saying, and so it is. Thank you.